Lolbit 6853 says power on. Mangle says ow, my head hurts. Lolbit 6853 says are you okay? Manage. Mangle says what happened did. Lolbit 6853 says we are in a new pizzeria, and we do a location. Lolbit 6853 says need to wake up puppet. Lol. Funtime Freddy 314 says new 5 more minutes. Lolbit 6853 says wake up. Funtime Freddy 314 says wha. Funtime Freddy 314 says out WW. Lolbit 6853 says sorry puppet. Funtime Freddy 314 says it's fine. Lolbit 6853 says puppet, do you know why were you here? Funtime Freddy 314 says mmm. Funtime Freddy 314 says maybe. Funtime Freddy 314 says just maybe. Funtime Freddy 314 says HMMM. Lolbit 6853 says check out. Funtime Freddy 314 says no clue. Lolbit 6853 says pizzeria. Funtime Freddy 314 says oh I has an idea. Funtime Freddy 314 says we need to find the office first. Lolbit 6853 says okay. Funtime Funtime Freddy 314 says, or a computer. Lolbit 6853 says I found the office. Mangle says I think I found some computers. Funtime Freddy 314 says I think we found the office. Funtime Freddy 314 says I dunno what you found. Mangle says oh okay. Lolbit 6853 says to office. Funtime Freddy 314 says aha. I found our most recent reasons for location movement. Funtime Freddy 314 says it says here. Mangle says what does it say? Funtime Freddy 314 says that we only moved locations was because of our old owner sold us to another person and moved us here. Lolbit 6853 says what was the best? Funtime Freddy 314 says P. Lolbit 6853 says we. Funtime Freddy 314 says yeah well most of us. Lolbit 6853 says first, who is the owner? Funtime Freddy 314 says someone named Funtime Freddy went ahead and left the pizzeria on his own. Lolbit 6853 says probably need to capture him. Funtime Freddy 314 says why? Funtime Freddy 314 says the current owner is SSS. Lolbit 6853 says find time for it has a bill I blow up. Funtime Freddy 314 says oh it's admin lock. Funtime Freddy 314 says I can't enter it. Mangle says can we hack it? Lolbit 6853 says see yeah, I probably know how to know the passcode. Lolbit 6853 says oh my eyes turned green. Funtime Freddy 314 says new, we can't do stuff like that T. Lolbit 6853 says you saw the passcode, unlock it. Funtime Freddy 314 says, but what if it's admin locked for a recent NN? Funtime Freddy 314 says like it's probably personal stuff that we shouldn't know www. Lolbit 6853 says probably forget about that he put them in. Paco is on. Lolbit 6853 says inside my head. Funtime Freddy 314 says well the only things I can see are the animatronics that didn't king with us. Lolbit 6853 says find name. Funtime Freddy 314 says one of them is obviously Funtime Freddy. Funtime Freddy 314 says but the others are Ballarat. Lolbit 6853 says we have her parts of her. Mangle says maybe it was her endo that escaped. Funtime Freddy 314 says another one is Bonbon. Lolbit 6853 says, is that a part Freddy FT? Funtime Freddy 314 says it's hard to look around, because most of them says redacted. Lolbit 6853 says what is a ender? Lolbit 6853 says ender. Funtime Freddy 314 says another one is named Circus Baby. Funtime Freddy 314 says there's one named Sunny/Sundrop. Mangle says wait, does it say anything about Foxy? Funtime Freddy 314 says, and the rest is just the redacted thing. Lolbit 6853 says he getting repaired with Sping Pro. Funtime Freddy 314 says it shows Foxy is supposed to be with us. Funtime Freddy 314 says oh there's more for him. Mangle says okay, that's good. Funtime Freddy 314 says it shows there's been issues bringing him here. Funtime Freddy 314 says because we were bruff in groups of 2. Mangle says oh. Funtime Freddy 314 says oh, and then there's Spring Bro. Funtime Freddy 314 says, but these two were not shown in their storage boxes because of minus. Lolbit 6853 says I found something. Funtime Freddy 314 says it just says redacted. Mangle says I hope he is okay. Funtime Freddy 314 says like a piece of the sentence was ripped off. Lolbit 6853 says you need to try this. Funtime Freddy 314 says so they had to put both Foxy and Spring Bros on hold for a while because of redacted again. Funtime Freddy 314 says yes, we are talking about the red Foxy. Mangle says poor Foxy and Spring Bro. Lolbit 6853 says nice, do you want to check out? Mangle says I hope they make it here safely. Funtime Freddy 314 says what did you find? Funtime Freddy 314 says it looks scary. Funtime Foxy 663 is pointing over there. Funtime Mangle says that's totally not creepy at all. Funtime Foxy 663 says we put like. Funtime Freddy 314 says oh okay then I guess I'll go down. Mangle says well that makes it a little less creepy. Mangle says less. Funtime Foxy 663 is pointing over there. Funtime Foxy 663 is pointing over there. Oi-chich-chich-chich. 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 Mangle says it's like a maze. Funtime Freddy 314 says M-. Lolbit 6853 says almost 6 o'clock. Funtime Freddy 314 says here let me just kadoosh. Oi-chich-chich-chich. Funtime Freddy 314 says just a lil bonk on the he. Funtime Freddy 314 says head. Funtime Freddy 314 says out W my head degree and degree. Funtime Freddy 314 says HMMMM no. Funtime Freddy 314 says stop getting so close to me. Lolbit 6853 says 6 o'clock. Funtime